tuned into Salam Media. And the next story that we'll be focusing on is a very inspiring one. A young lady, Fatima Gardee, she's raising funds for childhood cancer in memory of her closest friend and late brother, Yusuf Gardee. She'll be joining us via StreamYard to tell us, what inspired her, to be part of this foundation. Instead of, moping and being depressed, she decided, she's going to do something about it. And she's joining us right now on Salam Media. Fatima Gardee, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Salam Media.
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah for having me.
I mean, let's jump right into it. Your brother's battle with leukemia at such a young age must have been a very, incredibly challenging situation. How did this, you know, inspire you to become involved with the cow's charity and looking at his journey, how do you see yourself helping other children that are going through the same thing and other young people that have family members that might be suffering or living with cancer?
Gee, it was incredibly tough at the time, especially because I was 7 years old when this all happened, and Yusuf was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, which is actually a cancer of the blood and bone marrow. And the white blood cells are usually affected, and the white blood cells usually fight infections. But in Yusuf's case, his white blood cells were deformed. So he needed a donor, and he needed a donor to actually help him. And because I'm the younger sister and I have two older brothers, I always wanted to fit in and be with them and do whatever they were doing. I always played soccer with them, cricket practice, PlayStation games. I was always with them. I was always a
Mm,
part of the gang. So when Yusuf needed a donor for his bone marrow transplant, Alhamdulillah, my older brother Uzair was actually a perfect match. But I think when I found out that I wasn't the perfect match a few years later, I think that really stuck with me, that I felt helpless, that what am I doing to actually help Yusuf? And eventually I realized that I need to do something else. I need to find ways to actually help, and not only Yusuf, help other cancer recovery patients, help other cancer patients, help other families. And I think that's what gave me motivation over the years to give back to Chalk and give back to the cows, who honestly was such a motivation at the time. They really helped us out. And in Yusuf's cycling journey, it was so inspirational. I think Yusuf was so brave. He never gave up. Like, as riding 94.7 kilometers as a recovering cancer patient really motivated me, that Yusuf could do anything. He showed the power of perseverance in any challenge. And I think that was a really big motivation for me, that anything in life could possibly be done no matter what.
definitely. And I think, for a lot of people, they might not experience, having such a close loved one, someone that's so young, suffering, from cancer. What does that do to the family structure? I'm sure it's just different. You're not enjoying life and enjoying your loved one as much as you would have before the cancer. If maybe you can just share your experience, how was it at home, knowing that one of your closest family members, your brother, a son to your parents, was going through such a difficult stage and ultimately passing on.
It was actually very difficult at the time. Obviously, everyone was going through different emotions. I can't even imagine what my parents would have gone through losing a child. My eldest brother, him and my brother were only 1 or 2 years apart. So they were very close. I was also, Yusuf was my best friend. We were so close at the time. So for all of us, it was really difficult adjusting from having five in the family to having four in the family was a big adjustment. But I think we all learned how to deal with it with having a positive mindset and not dwelling on, oh, this is how it went, and being depressed about it. Like you said, we just looked at it in a positive light, and everything happens for a reason. Allah put this into our life as a test, and we all
Mm,
dealt with it well. And now look where we are. I'm just trying to help Chalk. I'm trying to give back, and we've done so many things to actually give back to Chalk. Like last year, we actually had we have a group in our community called the Gems of the Ummah, and we actually held a paddle tournament to give back in Chalk's honor, and it was actually an immense success. It was very successful because we raised 26,000 rand at this paddle tournament to give back to Chalk. So looking back and realizing that at that time it was very difficult dealing with this hardship and dealing with the trauma of everything, but over the years I think we've all like learned to deal with it. And actually my older brother was there and made a CD, he made a CD in Yusuf's memory. It was an Islamic Nasheed CD. So we all just taken different strides and try to deal with it and do things to help us in this journey. So inshallah, Allah makes it easy. It was difficult at the time, but chalk itself has also been a really big motivation to get us
Mm.
to where we are today.
Definitely. Could you maybe elaborate on the role of CHOC counselors in providing, support to patients and their families during difficult times, like those you experienced with your little brother Yusuf?
So at the time, sorry, just Yusuf was older than me.
Oh, older
Uh,
brother, yes.
so at the time, not only did the chalk counselors help us, they were an immense support to us because my parents were up and down, always at the hospital with Yusuf. So for my older brother and I, they were really a beacon of like hope, and they were always there motivating us that everything is going to be okay. They were always there helping us, and not only for us, for the other patients. There were a lot of patients and families who lived quite far out, so they provided accommodation and transport. They provided food for them. They always created a safe space, and not only they gave entertainment, they had magic shows, they had playstations. They actually made the chalk ward into something that you wouldn't even feel like it's a hospital. They made it into something so beautiful that I feel like these kids didn't hate their situation. They actually felt good to be there because of these chalk counselors, and they made it such a happy and safe space. And for the families too, they provided the families emotional support. They took them out on spa days. They gave a whole lot of support to make all these patients feel at home, and something that these chalk counselors don't even know the patient so well, and for them to actually make the situation so beautiful, I think motivated us all that even if you don't know these patients, even if you don't know some of these families, for them to take out from their own heart to do something like this was honestly beautiful. Like, I think that was amazing.
Definitely. And we almost always try and isolate ourselves when we're going through such a
Yeah.
difficult situation that you guys have faced. How important is it to go out there and be involved with initiatives like Chalk, and to be with people around you that seem to understand what you're going through, instead of locking yourself indoors and trying not to be seen in public. I mean, we know how our communities can be sometimes with the various stigmas around cancer, especially with young people. How important is it to go out there, be with other people, engage as much as you can? Because it looks like with Yusuf being part of initiatives like the cows, during his cancer remission, it helped in a way, not only for him but also for you guys as a family.
Yes, I think you actually just realize that you are not alone. You are not the only one experiencing something like this. And I think at the point we all must have thought, like, why is this happening to us? Why did Yusuf get diagnosed with leukemia? How can this happen? And I think once you get exposed to the outer world, you realize that there are so many other kids out there. There are so many other families out there who have experienced this and who might have experienced even worse. So I
Mm,
think being exposed to chalk, being exposed to how many kids there are who have been diagnosed with cancer, which is so scary. But you realize that there are so many other people. You are not alone in this battle. You are fighting it with other people who would motivate you. And like Yusuf cycling for Chuck, I think that was something that really helped him. I think even sports in general, cycling in general for these patients is something that was really important because I feel like it teaches them, well, it shows them that it's something out of the hospital, some normalcy, and it empowers them that they can do something, they can do so much, and once they better, it empowers them to like get to that point. And I feel like Yusuf riding 94.7 kilometers was just insane. Like, I think that showed him that he's not just a cancer patient. Like, there's the stigma that, oh, you're a cancer patient and now you're known as this cancer patient. I
mm,
think Yusuf realized that that is not who he is. There's a whole another world out of just having cancer, and he can do so much. He can do things that some people can't even do. I've never ridden the 94.7, and inshallah one day I will. At that point I was too young. But Yusuf's motivation has, honestly, I hope it's something that motivates everyone else. And sports itself is, it's a team sport. I feel like it shows these patients that it teaches them teamwork, determination. And I feel like the sport itself, being involved in chalk with the sport, just shows the patients themselves that they're not doing it alone, and these people that they're doing it with who will motivate them, inshallah.
Mm. I mean, and as for listeners who may be inspired by, your family and Yusuf's story, how can they get involved or contribute to the Cows initiative and support, their mission for assisting childhood cancer patients and their families?
I think that honestly, helping the cows and getting involved with chalk is honestly very easy. As you can see, it just takes one small thing to get involved. You can take a small initiative, donate in a very small way. Like I'm doing the mid-month with chalk, and inshallah, I don't know if there's the link that could be posted anywhere, but just a small
Mm.
thing like that by donating money is a quick and easy thing. Getting involved, taking a stance, do a little bit of research to empower yourself and knowledge of the cows. I think there's a lot of small steps that you can do just to get involved, and it's quite easy. So,
Yeah. And just lastly, before I let you go, if there are any families, that are currently in the same situation that you and your family faced, what message would you, give to them, based on your experiences and the support you receive from organizations like Chalk?
um, I feel like I would say that there's a lot of people who have walked down this road of cancer, and when you're doing something uplifting and empowering, I feel like it gives you the strength, and I feel like it encourages you to do better and be the best version of yourself. So I feel like you should appreciate your strength, appreciate your body, appreciate healing yourself, and focusing on yourself, doing things that are good for you, and that will help you along the journey. And you're not alone. Always have your faith in Allah and to God, and God is putting this test into your life, and everything will work out in the end. And just believe that God and Allah is always with you. Keep praying, be positive. You're not alone, and just give back to chalk. I think that's something that I really want to emphasize here, that chalk, it was such a vital and important part of our journey. And go to chalk, donate, help them, because if you are helping them, essentially they're helping so many other people at the hospital, and giving back to so many patients and families, which was so instrumental for my family. So give back to chalk is my biggest thing.
All right, I'm going to let you go, Fatima Gardee. There, thank you so much for joining us, and
Thank you
hopefully
so much
more
for having
people
me.
will be involved with
I hope
Chalk
I've
and the
inspired
Cows
someone.
initiative. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I know you inspired me, but thank you so much for joining us here on Salam Media, and I hope to check with you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's how we ending it on a very positive note there with Fatima Gardee there, sharing the story of her older brother, Yusuf Gardee, who, succumbed to leukemia at a very young age, and how that took a toll not only on herself, but the rest of the family, and how they found, some sort of reprieve. From an organization called Chalk. You can go to Chalk's website if you want to contribute in any way. Yeah, very inspiring story there. But yeah, we're going to leave it there for now. From myself, Salilo, and the rest of the team. Till next week, Wednesday. We'll see you then. I think from Salam Media, you can look forward to the State of the Nation address. I know I'm going to be there. I'm going to Cape Town, where the president will be giving the State of the Nation address, and there'll be so much more happening in Cape Town through this weekend. So keep an eye onto Salam Media. The Palestine football national team is making its way to our shores. We'll be there at the Cape Town International Airport with some of my team members to welcome them. And then we'll be at the State of the Nation address that's going to be presented by President Cyril Ramaphosa. There's going to be a football match where the Palestine national football team is going to be playing at the Athlone Stadium with one of the local football teams. So we're going to be there for that. So you can keep an eye on to all of Salam Media social media. I'm flying out tomorrow. Hopefully, there's going to be time to fit all of this into one package. But Sona, definitely, I want to keep an eye on, especially when we're just a few, I don't know, months, weeks away from the national elections. But right now, from me, Salilo, and the rest of the team is goodbye. Assalamu alaikum. Nisale ahle. Till next week, Wednesday. Goodbye.